everyone, my name is Furry Trotter, and welcome to Strixhaven's School of Quandrix, where multiplication is our sole focus, if you know what I mean. That's right, we like math. We geeks are the brainchild of the elder dragon Tanazir Quandrix. This magical math dragon can turn even the nerdiest freshman into a thick threat. And we like it thick. The game plan for today's deck is to first get all of our little 1-mana dudes out that will later get beefed up by Quandrix. Use Advanced Addition to mutate and multiply. Ramp up to 5 mana with our quadratic Lotus Cobra. Get out our magic math dragon. Then, through complex equations and much deliberation, we swing all in for the win. And like every good math wizard, of course, we double check our work and protect our butts with some sweet spells. So that's the game plan. The full breakdown and analysis of this deck will be after the gameplay. All right, let's do it, nerds. Up against Scaphism here, and I like this hand. We're gonna keep it. Hello. Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Gotcha. Plays out a swamp, and yeah, unfortunately, we really need a second land here. That'd be a third land I meant. And okay, then we got it. We're gonna play out Lotus Cobra on the next turn. Do I want the Goose now? I guess we can ramp up to Tanazir quicker, right? There are some things to be said about playing out Swarm Shambler, because then we can start activating it with the Lotus Cobra with extra mana that we may not be using. Getting it up with counters is good because it's actually one of the few creatures that actually gets counters, because unfortunately our snake is protected from all of our actual cards here, which is a little bit, not the snake, the Stone Cold Serpent, which is a little bit funky. Played out now. No, because we do have Quandrix next turn if we find it. Pass the turn. Witherbloom Apprentice. So whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. With the Plum the Forbidden, this can be a really busted combo piece, which is really awesome with the Pest deck. So Pests are a thing. That's good here. If they're just trying to go wide, they did it. All right, decent draw. Let's see here. Let's add green mana. Let's play. I think I want this on the flyer, right? Yeah, let's do that. Go on the Gilded Goosey. Put it over. Get some ramp going. So I could Decisive Denial and kill like the Witherbloom Apprentice here now. Attack and do some other stuff. I can also protect a little bit against other things. I think that I'm just playing out the Swarm Shambler though. Still going a little bit wide. And we'll swing in for 3. Hopefully they don't have a way to like, okay. They get to learn. There are some pretty good learn cards in Golgari. Yeah, that's one of them. That's a good one. Unfortunately, now we can't Decisive Denial that either. So they probably just sacrifice a thing, kill our Migratory Greathorn. Oh, forgot about the learn effect. It's weird because you have to like almost memorize everyone's sideboard as well as everything else going on. Sorry, I don't know what's going on there. Bam, doom, done. Has the Woe Strider. Right, now we need to hold up Decisive Denial, I think, for the rest of the time. They can attack in pretty aggressively. They ought to. No blocks. Down to 17. That's a Quandrix. Add blue mana. Tanazir. We do want to hold up Decisive now, so we have to hold back the Migratory Greathorn here. I could also pay to get an extra counter on this to give him up to 4 counters. I could do that, but again, we're holding up Decisive Denial, so we're just going to do this here. And pass the turn. All right, so the whole benefit here is that when Quandrix attacks, you may have the base power and toughness of other creatures you control equal his power and toughness. And so if we find the Quandrix command, we can put 2 counters under this. Everything becomes 6/6s. But even just turning everything into 4/4s, especially with counters, this becomes a 6/6 by itself. Lotus Cobra can definitely attack in a lot better that way as well. All right, so we Decisive Denial. Sweet. All right. Yay. Here we go. We'll do this one. Yeah. I do like these new emotes. They're fun. All right. Swarm Shambler. I'm trying to remember if they would have something that would give things. Here, if they double block or anything like that, then we can use Decisive Denial then. We don't really need to yet. So take action, everything becomes a 4/4. Sweet. That is what we've been trying to do. And it is as beautiful as I thought it would be. Yeah, this is fantastic. I like this. The biggest thing we're needing right now is some card draw. We need to find the Great Henge. Great Henge would be great, especially after attacking in, having a 6/6. All right, so they do go all in here. Which means, do we Decisive Denial? Do we need to save our Lotus Cobra here? It is a pretty big blowout. We're still trading off with everything. And I think that spells are the thing that kill us here. Like Attend the Pests or something would be the most annoying. So let's just go ahead and let stuff through. We don't really need Lotus Cobra. Down to 7. Pass the turn. Hold up Decisive Denial. Killing a Woe Strider before they can use the Tend to Pest or Dina or anything like that goes on with the pest decks, pest control. I used to sell pest control. I was one of those really annoying door-to-door salesmen. I have since repented of my ways and become a better human being in general. But I was one of those guys back in the day. So I know a lot about pest control. How about that? Agni's Awakening. Well, yes, Decisive Denial now. I love this card. It's fantastic. Good game. No blocks. Down to 13 and attack in. Yes. Take action. Big beefy dude swinging in. It feels great. I like this deck a lot. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, up against Wetten and keep this hand. Bunch of 1-drops. Man, I feel like we're having the same type of thing happen where we have actually quite a few 1-drops. I'm putting out the Swarm Shambler here first, of course, before the Stone Cold Serpents. They're good enough by themselves. And they get bigger later. Clever Lumimancer. Ooh, that's so terrifying. Failed Passage is nice, though. Swing in. Yeah, Clever Lumimancer is scary, scary. Because they're playing Lurso, they don't have Mavinda, which does change up how busted their hand can be a tiny, tiny bit. Going into Orzhov, however, makes it even more scary. And it puts a counter onto the creature. Oof. Oof. Yeah, no blocks. Take 1,000,000. Down to 17. Another Swarm Shambler. If they have another counter or discard spell, that's annoying. But I think for now, we're just going to make a 4/4. I should just play the island. It doesn't really matter what we grab there. Do I play out the other Swarm Shambler? I don't think so. We just go for a 4/4. Swing in for 3. Down to 16, pass the turn. This deck, man. Clever Lumimancer is so explosive. I've not seen the Orzhov version of this. I did a video a while back of it, and I was even running like poorly and just like was getting up to like 15 points of damage on a turn without trying that hard. You know, like so good. Clarion Spirit. Cling to Dust, great 1-mana spell. Yep, and it gets to play later on if they need it. All right, no spells here, so we can swing in at least with the Stone Cold Serpent. All right, so play out Swarm Shambler. Attacking with Stonecoil Serpent. That means that we don't have defenders. But this doesn't have trample either. And if they target our stuff, we start making a ton of blockers as well. Down to 12. Pass the turn. Intriguing. Cleverlumancer number dos. Okay, Quandrix off the top will make all of our dreams come true. Plumb the Forbidden. Sweet stuff. Dude, it's so good. All the draws, all of the cards. This is the biggest thing I was wondering about is like, could you actually play Plumb the Forbidden with Cleverlumancer? Because I feel like it would be hard to have things to sacrifice. But the spirit tokens from Clarion Spirit, it's a good way to go. Can we take 5 here? I can block and kill the Clarion Spirit with the Swarm Shambler. Is that worthwhile? Take 7 down to 10. They're not going to have any good blockers because this actually doesn't become that big. I could potentially pressure lethal with like a Gem Razor off the top. Let's block with this one then. So block there. Take 2. I think that we do better by making this game go a little bit longer. They have way more cards than we do right now. We're in a little bit of trouble. We found the perfect card though, so I mean that's something. Do I make this massive? I'm debating if I want to activate Swarm Shambler now, get 3 counters onto it, get it up to 6, and then swing in as a 10/10. I don't think we need to. Because I think I'd rather it be available as a blocker, maybe. I can jump block with Lotus Cobra now. As long as they can't make both of them too big, then we're okay. But they could also have removal. It's probably Heartless Act. Swing with this, they're forced to block. Okay, just with the Stonecoil Serpent. It becomes an 8/8 next turn. That's really difficult for them to deal with. As long as we survive, with Quandrix having trample, this having trample, we should be good. If they have a Heartless Act, they're probably going to have to target the Quandrix here. We have the ability to put 1 more counter onto the Swarm Shambler, make it a 5/5, which can still block a lot of stuff. All right, yeah. Humiliate. That's one of the cool things about this one too, is it's still a good card even if they're empty-handed. Humiliate's a fantastic card. Another counter onto this one. Lumimancer. No attacks. Oh, well, oh yes. Please, 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 please. Oh, they forgot about the Swarm Shambler. And that might be Shane Scoop. Let's see. Please, please. Yes, Quandrix again. Okay, attack in. Take action. Everything becomes massive. We can play another Quandrix out after this if we want to. Yep, things got trample too. Oh man, this deck is, when it goes off, it is so beautiful. I do feel like we're needing more card draw somehow. I have the Great Henge in it. We just haven't found it yet. But like, a really good hand is a bunch of 1-drops and like Lotus Cobra, like we had this time, and we happen to top deck the 2 Quandrixes. But if we don't find those, or like the Gem Razors or whatever, which we do have enough of them in the deck, we should find them. But if we don't, the deck just kind of like dirtles, which can be an issue. Boom, bam, baby. This is fantastic. I love this deck. Yep, it's fantastic. Up against Fustus and Decisive Denial. Man, Quandrix Command becomes a lot worse when we don't have like creatures to put the counters onto, because then we just don't really do much else with it. Like, that's one of the biggest issues. The only real good effect here is the 2 counters onto our creature we control. I'm debating on keeping this still just because we have the Quandrix. We're on the draw. We can find some 1-drops. We can find some other stuff. Decisive Denial, and this is still good enough cards that we have interaction to stop a lot of game plans. And we're going to find something good. And I just want to play Quandrix. Like, that's the main thing here. Secret Keeper. Well, and Decisive Denial seems like it's going to be actually really legit now anyway, too. So, and Quandrix Command also takes care of their Teferi's Tutelage. Let's just hope they don't have it on turn 3 when I can't actually counter it. The art here for the Snakeskin Veil, quite awesome. It's fantastic. Pass the turn. See if we can counter something good here. Land and Tutelage. Yeah, we definitely counter that. Great Horn. Trying to think, we're mostly just splashing blue. I don't think we need too much blue mana out here. Pass the turn. We really need to hit this 4th land, like so bad. Secret Keeper, that's fine. We definitely don't bounce that back to hand or give it counters, I've decided. Wind Robber, don't bounce that either. That's fine. Come on, land. You can do it, deck. No! Oh, deck. We have so much ramp. We have the 24 lands too, you know, like we started out with 3 lands in this hand, so you know, 15 cards deep should be good. Interesting. Yeah, cool. I can also put stuff back in my deck if ever I feel like I need to with Quandrix Command. Just to feel like I get a better shuffle. It also does help a little bit. 3 cards, they have to go deeper. Alright, down to 19. Stonecold Serpent would have been a decent draw. I'd rather a land though, so that's good. Come on, Teferi's Tutelage again. Oh, man. All the lands gone. Plays out the Secret Keeper. Yeah, pass to my turn. Haha, tapped land. Oh, the snarls. Love ya, kinda. Alright, pass the turn. Alright, we're in the game. We got up to 4 mana, which means we can play most of our deck. 5 mana means we can play Great Henge and everything like that and start going crazy with stuff. Dude, what a combo. They keep doing the same thing. I'm not sure if it's fast enough to beat us. That's a lot of cards to get just 4 cards milled as well. Like, they're technically spending 2 cards every time to get 4 cards milled, which is not very impressive when you can do a lot of other things. So yeah, sure. And we're just going to hold up the counter for the Quandrix, or the Teferi's Tutelage. They probably are holding up Didn't Say Please as well, though. And so just playing out creatures here isn't necessarily our best play. Down to 18. Another Decisive Denial gone. Rude. Come on, play the Tutelage. You know you want to. You know you want to. Alright. Well, it's not a Didn't Say Please. That lets me play out Gem Razor pretty easily. Pass to my turn. Cultivator lets us play Quandrix. Is that actually good enough? It ain't bad. I don't remember which creature counterspells there are for 2 mana. I don't think there's that many that people are running. Take action, grab an island. I guess it should have been Forest for holding up the Snakeskin Veil. I already have the 2 blue sources, which is really all that I need in this deck. There it is. Well, we can Gem Razor and kill it. So I think I'm looking for a 1-drop here. Or 1 or 2 drops so I can Gem Razor as well. Kill that. Be in good shape. Down to 30. 29, 28 when I draw. There's the 1-drop we wanted. Deck. There's the land. Oh, yes. All right. Well, then. Well, creature and then Gem Razor, right? Great Henge could also be... Not yet. Not yet. All right. Play out Tanazir. We hold up Snakeskin Veil just in case they try to unsummon our stuff. Counter onto... Actually, what I can do... I can hold up full control here. I can put a counter onto itself. Make it a 6/6. Nah, we'll be fine. Even making just a 5/5 is still decent. Pass the turn. I'd rather wait and see if they have the 3rd unsummon here. No attacks. Pass the turn. Putting a counter onto that is also a little bit tempting. Could have put 2 counters there. Mill 2 cards. Okay. Man, all of our 1-drops. We have not found any of those this whole time. Various tutelage deck. Ooh. All right. Well, Gem Razor is awesome. The fact that we have Gem Razor and Great Horn means if we have a 1-drop, we're in such good shape here. Which we only have like what, 12 1-drops, a couple of their 2-drops and things. Okay. Pass is my turn. Another Quandrix. That's not a 1-drop. Deck. Come on, deck. Work with me here. All right, we have to go for Gem Razor now. I don't think there's any way we can avoid that. Let's see here. How much mana do I need for that? I need 3 mana, which Great Henge does let us do that. Not if they have a counter spell, though, for 2 mana. Oh, a little bit greedy here, but we're going to go for it. Okay. Gem Razor. Give this guy trample. Start killing some tutelages. $20 cards. All right, so if they have a way to draw cards here, we're in lots of trouble. That's a way. Down to 17. That's a low number of stuff. Man, we drew terribly because they were milling us out. So take action. They become a 4/4. Yeah. All right, down to 16. It'd be great to draw a card here with Great Henge, but I guess nah, we actually don't want that to happen. Into the story. Wow. I don't think we're dead. We lose 8 cards here. We can kill the other tutelage. Merfolk Secret Keeper here would be the worst, I think. They've got to have hit another land. I actually can get pretty close to lethal here too. So I can put a bunch of counters onto Quandrix. Oh my gosh. All right, so we actually had lethal there. That was ridiculous. But let's check this out. So I actually could put 2 counters onto it here, put a Snakeskin Veil counter onto it. That's 4 mana. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so I think I needed 1 more mana to be able to double the counters onto it. So I probably just Quandrix command, double the counters onto it. and then swing in with Gem Razor and this, which would have been plenty of damage to kill him, because it would have turned Gem Razor into the same amount of power as this had, which we could have gotten it over 8, which means lethal. And so we were actually close to with lethal there, just not quite. All right, up against Monsey, and with an untapped land with 2 draws to find it, we have Great Horn on turn 2 into Quandrix, or into Quandrix Cultivator into Tanazir. I mean, we keep that, right? That's a pretty fantastic hand, potentially. And even if we do it on turn 3, as long as this doesn't die, it's still a decent play. Hateful Eidolon. It's probably going to die now. Dang it. Yeah. And we didn't draw the untapped land, and now everything is going to go poorly for us. Deadweight. Kill us. Draw cards. Have all the best stuff. I mean, it's still our only play, so we play it out, but... Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if we can salvage this one with some good draws. That's not it. That's definitely not the draw we were looking for. The nice thing here is that this typically needs a bunch of smaller creatures to really work well. And we have a bunch of 4 toughness creatures after this. At the same time, though, if they just have 2 deadweights and 2 hateful islands, they just draw all of the cards. And that's bad. Okay, down to 18. Do I need double green for anything? Not right away. So I think we just grab a blue source now. Alrighty. Well, there's a 3rd land. That's getting there. Getting there, we're good. Pass the turn. 4th land off the top, please. Elspeth's Nightmare. They can hit Great Henge. That is a little bit frustrating. Let's go ahead and gain some life. They're going to beat us by dealing damage to us, so we can at least slow it down a smidge. Decisive Denial. Well, at least they have another option to hit. Not a land. That would have been a nice thing to play. Yeah, all of the ramp. All of the ramp in the world in our hand, and we have 3 lands on the battlefield. Oh, it's brutal. Yeah, I knew it going into this one, but stings a little inside. Rankle, also good. Force us to discard, probably. The question here is, do we hold on to a Great Henge? So we already have 2 Quandrixes, so get rid of that, dude. That's a land! Oh boy. In the game, my friends. Let's grab another island. Come on. Pass the turn. Exile our graveyard. Sure, fine. We get to... with the land, we get to double Great Horn. We can grab all of it. I'm not sure if that's actually worthwhile. Quandrix itself is not bad here either. Force us to sacrifice a dude. Down to 11. The sacrifice, does this say an aura or an enchanted creature? Draw a card for each aura attached to it, so they don't actually do it themselves. Let's drop a Great Horn. With Great Henge out, we suddenly become... we get into pretty good shape here. They can have like a Myers Grasp so that we can't block the Rankle very well. We can at least trade off. Well, play Tanazir. Pass the turn. It's a lot of damage too. He's hitting for 6 here. We have to block to not be dead, so we definitely block. Abso-frickin-lutely. I gotta stop trying to say words sometimes, you know? I just don't do it right. I'm not what you would call intelligent enough to say some things sometimes. Quandrix command. That is actually fantastic. We're not dead on the next turn, right? Okay, so Migratory Great Horn. We still get it out so we can play out Great Henge next turn. Quandrix command means that we can bounce the Demonic Embrace. This is only when the creature dies. So if we just bounce their creature, they lose all their auras and they don't get to draw cards. That sucks. Man, what do we do? Gemraiser has reach. That would be nice to have. Man, they're so far ahead here, but we still have the ability to potentially stay in it. They're definitely sacrificing creature here. Yeah, that's fine. Discard a card. And sacrifice a creature. Yeah, Great Henge becomes less useful. Man, if we had a decisive demand. Oh, it'd be so good. Oh, man. As far as top decks go, it's keeping us alive. Pass the turn. It has reach. We can kill a wrinkle. Even with the Demonic Embrace on it. The nice thing here is that they don't have Myers Grasp or Deadweight. If they had it, they would automatically play it right away. All right, so we do get to stay in this game at least. Down to 6. They get to draw another card. They have that for next turn. We keep drawing lands. All right, we know that they have some discard, and so I'm going to hold on to this for a little bit. I wish there was a way to gain some life. Pass the turn. For the love. Jeez, guy. It's got it all. All right, well. All right, so return to his owner's hand. Target player. We definitely get rid of their Demonic Embrace. And we throw more lands into their deck, so they just hit lands. Worst top decking for you. Take that. All right, down to 5, and we just can't draw anything. Man, come on, deck. Come on. We have like so many answers for this deck, and we can't find them. That's not cool. Yeah, so they forced us to draw a card here, and it's a good game. So yeah, good game. We're done. They can force us to do it then. Whatever. I'm not going to spend the time forcing them to do it. All right, up against Mevlar, and we keep this hand. Do I play this out on turn 1? I want to hold up Decisive Denials when I can. But if I can't even trade off against this guy, yeah, maybe not. So play Forest, pass the turn. The biggest issue with Stone Cold Serpent is that we can't fight with Decisive Denial. We can't use Quandrix Command to actually pump it up. Tannazir can't even pump up its counters. And so it actually kind of needs to be big by itself to an extent. Tannazir doesn't have its ability now anyway. X2 does let us block a Hushbringer. Is that big enough? Sure. This also means when we swing in, it at least becomes a 6/6. Like, that's the main reason that we have it, is it's another trample creature that puts counters onto itself so we can do busted big things. So I can Snakeskin Veil and kill the Warsinger. I can Quandrix Command it here. I can play Lotus Cobra, play the land. They don't actually have anything in the graveyard yet, right? So just taking the 3 isn't that big of a deal. It's not like it's fantastic, but this lets us get up to Quandrix for the next turn. Yeah, so we need to play Lotus Cobra. I want to hold up Decisive Denial if I can. Yeah, land into the battlefield still triggers for the Hushbringer. Add blue mana. Yeah, just pass the turn. We can hold up Snakeskin Veil, which is at least decent. Keeps our stuff on the board. Make sure Lotus Cobra stays alive. And then Quandrix shuts their deck down pretty hard. Hey, no blocks. Take 3. So I'm not sure how this works with the Warsinger. So it can bring back a creature with X or less from the graveyard whenever it hits in. If they swung in with Hushbringer there, would it come back? Like, if it died on the same combat, would Warsinger bring it back on the same turn? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm not totally sure. Yeah, hey, there we go. No Spellbinder for you. All right, let's go. I think I need bigger bodies. We're gonna go in Snakeskin Veil now. And then Quandrix so I can pump this a little bit more, because I can't target the Stonecoil Serpent. Actually, I can't get the ETB effect anyway, so it's fine. This is just big enough of a flyer to stop all of their stuff, which is kind of fun. No attacks, pass the turn. I totally forgot this blocks the Warsinger. I shouldn't take it. That was a misplay last turn. All right, protection from blue, from green, probably. Yeah, totally forgot here, but we can at least block here, stop 2 points of damage. Brings back an All Seed, that's fine. So we have another Quandrix. Let's see how they block. They can bring stuff back, so they're probably going to be pretty tempted to block pretty aggressively. Should I put 2 counters onto this instead, actually? 2 counters return maybe Warsinger back to its hand. We'll hold off for a moment. Take action. I'm also fine losing the Quandrix here to play out another Quandrix. All right, well, that's fine too. All right, so return creature counters onto stuff. So return, yeah, Warsinger back to hand, counters onto Quandrix. They can give it protection here and keep the Warsinger out. It's protection from blue. That means we get to decisive denial. They didn't choose green. They did not choose green. Oh, that's so big. Okay. This is huge. All right, so now we get to fight the Warsinger. At green mana. Do I do it right now? Yeah, I think I've got to. Oh, wait. I can't target with the decisive denial, though. Right, okay. I can fight it on the next turn, though, so we're good. Okay, pass the turn. We don't want them to bring back all their protection stuff. Like that's Venerable Warsinger is just a really busted card. All right, so we do decisive denial here. Okay, kill that dude. Now you have to have blockers or else you're dead on this swing back. Yes! Oh, it's so good. So what we could do there, this is actually the cool thing about double Quandrix is we can actually play out another Quandrix, double the counters this one, keep it around, and then swing in with everything getting, you know, becoming 8/8s, which means we had 10 damage, 8 damage, you know, 9 here. It's so good. It's so good. I love this deck. Up against Crumb and keep this. Is that Trum? Yeah. All right. Island, Swarm Shambler, pass the turn. Good early game stuff going on here. We just need to find the other things. Raging Goblin. No blocks. Is this a intro deck? Perhaps, and that's okay. Lotus Cobra. Tempted to get out the Stonecold Serpent there, but also not going to do that. Pass the turn. Oh, rudeness. Okay, do I want to make a massive Magecraft Greathorn? Up against a deck like this, it actually might be nice. Ooh. Let's go with... So playing out the island for sure. I can play Stonecold Serpent out and then Magecraft Greathorn onto that. Creating just a big beefy blocker here is pretty sweet stuff, right? It's hard for them to deal with a 3/4. Do I go aggressive though is the question. I don't think so. It's actually a 4/5. That becomes way harder for them to deal with. All right, grab a forest, pass the turn. Because now it requires not just a stomp, it requires the pump spells and everything else. I want to see if they're hovering over their hand here. No blocks, we'll take it. Down to 15. Bolt Hound, okay. Trying to feel them out a little bit, what they're playing here. All right, so Lotus Cobra. We will get out Stonecold Serpent here for 5. We could wait and get it up to what? 7? That's big. I think we still go for this though. I think we try to just keep our board state awesome. I know what's great about an awesome board state. It's awesome. Yeah, down to 15. Pass the turn. Stomping against aggro typically wins. So it all comes down to, do they find the Embercleave and when? And how bad does it hurt us? Hull Monitor. With haste. Dude can't block. We kill a Bolt Hound. Down to 11. Swarm Shambler. Do I want to put a counter onto this and block? Make it a 5/6. Or do I just want to hit for 9? I think I just hit for 9, right? With trample on this side of the board. We should be able to keep pace. I probably will just chump block anything that looks too terrifying here. Which right now is nothing. This is just haste tribal. Forbidden friendship, yep. Ginger brute. They have enough dudes to actually block the Great Horn. Yeah, so no blocks this time. Next time we'll hold it back down to 7. A little bit lower than I'd like to be. Swing in with just the Serpent. I could force him to block here, but yeah, not this time. I think we hold back one more time. I think an Embercleave really hurts us though. Pass the turn. Well, they didn't pay for the Ginger Brutes, so we'll go ahead and block those guys. I guess we actually kill Hall Monitor, just in case. I mean, we win if they don't have lethal right now. So the 4 Embercleave gives +3. So they do have lethal with an Embercleave here. No Embercleave? They could just have 2 shocks as well. Oh, this is so tense. 3 cards left. Oh, Slaying Fire. All right, good play. I'm not sure if we could have done anything too much better there, other than maybe trade off with stuff a bit earlier. I mean, I could have held back a Great Horn earlier as well, but we also were trying to put the pressure on us as well. All right, time for the breakdown for this deck. And that's what I'm going to start doing, is start doing more of the breakdowns after the gameplay and everything. Trying to do a little bit more interesting intros, because I just wanted to make sure that my videos are a little bit more interesting for you guys. I am picking and choosing games with this now, because I want to make sure that I'm just providing good entertainment and content for you guys. So just so you guys know, I am picking and choosing games. There actually were quite a few losses with this deck. I got 3 wins, and it took a lot of losses, which was kind of just due to luck. We had about 7 games where I could not find a 1-drop or 2-drop or anything. Like it was just feeling really dead. Like we just with how many we have in the deck, I figured that we should either top deck him if we had other stuff, or we should have other things. We just were not hitting lands. We weren't hitting our 1-drops, and I just ran really poorly. And so I took out a lot of those games. I'm probably taking out 3 or 4 games that were just like really like, come on, like what, how can I not do this? They were all losses. And so the stats on this deck are terrible. Want to be completely upfront with that here once we get to this side. This is the one. And so we were on the draw quite a few times, but we just drew terribly 4 games in a row for me. And like I feel like the games that were good, where we were actually playing the stuff out, I showed here. With how much ramp we have in this deck, we should be able to ramp up the stuff pretty easily, and we just weren't getting up to 5 mana that often. We never really had anything for card draw. We definitely need card draw on this deck somewhere. I don't know where it's at. The Quandrix Command, I think, is a 1 of in the deck, maybe a 2 of, but I think we need to trim this out for something better. Snakeskin Veil also is decent, but it could also be something a little bit better. And so I let me know in the comments below what to fill the slot in with. I'm not sure exactly the best thing to put in for card draw. Great Henges, maybe just more Great Henges, maybe some more beefy creatures, so that we can just like make sure we hit that, because I think that a Great Henge makes a lot of sense for this deck, but at the same time that we have a bunch of like 3-power creatures that just didn't quite work. So like the Great Horns, like all these 4-drops that don't really work if we don't hit our ramp in the early game, if we don't hit our lands, and so maybe we just bring in some other, I don't even know, maybe some card draw into the mana base, into whatever else, I'm not sure, but yeah, this deck felt so powerful the games that it won, and it was just doing its thing. Like it wasn't anything crazy, you know, just that the games that I lost, we just didn't draw the things that our deck wants to draw, which is, you know, a 1-drop, a ramp spell, you know, something in the 4-drop slot, and then Quandrix, which just hitting Quandrix, I actually was hitting Quandrix in a lot of the games where I lost, but just like nothing to get to him. And so it wasn't that I wasn't hitting him often enough. And I feel like we won enough games with just Gem Razor, with other things, and like bumping up our other creatures pretty well, that we don't need Quandrix to win. So it wasn't that either. Things just didn't work. There is a Nombo here as well with Decisive Denial not working with Stonecoil Serpent. With a multicolored protection from multicolored is actually a little bit annoying. And so maybe we do need to have like a ram through. Like honestly, maybe that's just another thing we bring into the deck instead. Is, you know what? If we just have a really big Stonecoil Serpent with Gem Razor, or even with Quandrix pumping them up, getting bigger, maybe we just have ram through as a way to just finish out the game quicker. It gives us more removal, things that we can actually play with Stonecoil Serpent that could be good. We could also throw in charge throughs as a way to, you know, target our own stuff, get a little bit of just card draw with you know, mono green. So there's a few things that I definitely felt like we needed some sort of card draw, some way to fix what was going on. Maybe I bring in castles to be able to like scry with this, but the issue is that every time we hit our hit our lands, had our mana, we were actually doing just fine. And so anyway, the whole point of this is I'm going to be doing the breakdown and the analysis of this deck. And so let me just go through why we have different cards in this real quick too. So our 1-drops, Gilded Goose, Swarm Shambler, and Stonecoil Serpent. I think this is the right number of everything. We were hitting our Gilded Gooses pretty well. Opponents just have a lot of removal for Gilded Goose right now as well. And so it's just, you know, Gilded Goose died a lot when it did. It was bad. At the same time, though, I feel like I had a bunch of hands where it's like, okay, I have Gilded Goose so I can ramp up to something good. And then I wouldn't hit like my third land, you know, or anything like that. We draw like, you know, 16 cards deep and would not hit a third land. And it's just like, oh, well, I mean, that's just called Ministry. You know, you can't do much about that. Even with a Gilded Goose, you can't quite ramp up into 5-drops or 4-drops if you don't hit something else. And so, again, I'm not showing some of those games here. Swarm Shambler, I think, is fantastic here. It lets us, what we want to do, like, this is the perfect card for this deck. It's absolutely the thing that we want. And we want it on turn 1 as often as possible, because we do have quite a few things with counters. We have, you know, Snakeskin Veil. That's where I like the Quandrix command, because we can't put some counters onto stuff. But even just Stonecoil Serpent, this, and maybe we do need a little bit more counter, plus some counter synergy. Maybe we need like Yorvo into the deck. I'm not sure, because there's not that many great creatures right now that get the plus some counters right away that fit with our game plan. But Swarm Shambler, even if it does get targeted, if we have multiple of these out and they kill a Quandrix or kill something that has a plus some counter onto it, or a Stonecoil Serpent, we get to make a bunch of insects. And what do we want with Quandrix? A bunch of cheap 1-drops, a bunch of little creatures. And so Swarm Shambler makes a bunch of little creatures, even if it dies, which is fantastic. You know, even if it gets targeted with removal, basically. And so we can go wide. We can still have the Quandrix ability. So Swarm Shambler is just the perfect 1-drop here. And so we definitely keep that. Stonecoil Serpent, while it doesn't work with Decisive Denial and Quandrix being able to double up the counters, and that is a big deal that we don't get that ability, it still is perfect with its other ability here, the secondary ability, which buffs up the Stonecoil Serpent, which is the reason we're playing it, and it won us the games that we won by doing that. And so it's good enough that you definitely still play the Stonecoil Serpent here. I think what we need to figure out is something in the 2, 3, and the 2 and 3 drop slot. I was going for Gem Razor and Migratory Greathorn because they worked so well with Stonecoil Serpent and Swarm Shambler and Gilded Goose. They just, like, because those are our 1-drops, it makes sense to play Gem Razor and Migratory Greathorn here, because they ramp us up. They get us up to Quandrix. They are, you know, they buff up our guys that already have plus some counters. If we don't find a Quandrix, which is a big deal, if we don't find a Quandrix, we need another way to still have big threats, and these guys are big threats. And so we had that, and that won us a game there as well by having those guys. And so maybe we want an extra couple of Gem Razors to have this as well, just because there were some times that we had 1-drops and didn't have our 3-drop slot. Gem Razor does kill a lot of things in the format as well, so it's nice to have. So I think you at least go up to 3 copies here on the Gem Razor. I'm not making the changes here. This is something you guys can do if you want to play this deck as well. Quandrix Cultivator, I liked it. It does, the nice thing about it is you play on turn 4 and you get to Quandrix on turn 5, and it still at least gets 1 power buff from the Quandrix, and so it's nice. I also was playing it for the flavor. That's the reason why I'm also playing Quandrix Command and Decisive Denial here. Decisive Denial, I think, is the best card, one of the best cards in a Simic deck. It counters so many relevant things, and it also just lets you fight as well, like having the fight effect here. It's just fantastic. Lotus Cobra, of course, I think you absolutely play here, especially because we were playing Migratory Greathorn and the Quandrix Cultivator. It just didn't make any sense not to play the Lotus Cobra here, especially because it can still be mutated onto. It becomes a 4/4. You know, it's a decent body still. Quandrix Command, I think, was just probably our weakest card. So that's probably the main story here. Quandrix Command, while it wasn't awful, it wasn't amazing. It didn't draw us the cards that we needed. We didn't do quite enough things. It did give us the plus encounters we wanted to. Like, it did, you know, there was times that it created scenarios that it could have, you know, given us the win. And so there's that still. I don't know. I don't think that you cut it out completely. It's just a one of, and this is where I'm running into the issue when I was building this deck. Is everything I've talked about so far, it's like, you definitely keep this in here. You definitely play this in the deck. This is the deck that you play, and the games that we won felt phenomenal. Like, it was the deck felt really, really solid. I think it's just that there's a couple things that we just needed something else here, because obviously I was losing too many games. And so anyway, I don't want these breakdowns analysis to go too long. Let me know what you guys actually want in these as well, what things you actually are looking for. I probably will spend 10 minutes max on a breakdown analysis to kind of go through this, but I want to at least give a little bit more of that, because I'm probably going to be taking out as much of the breakdown, as much of the stuff in the intros, and this is just a good time to kind of have the chance to talk it through. And also, because I am let me show you this. This is what I'm doing. So I am editing out a lot of games. You know, anything that has a 10, this is just basically like, that's a game I like and will probably keep. At least was a fun game, even though we lost. And so I have, you know, still 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 games that I'm going to show here for you guys, which I don't want to go over an hour. People drop off before that time anyway. It's not something that's interesting so for the YouTube side of things, you guys don't want to watch something, most of you, that's more than an hour anyway. Like 70% of you. There's 30% of you guys that will watch, you know, will watch longer. I'm just being completely transparent. That's the whole point of this breakdown analysis, is to try to open the transparency up to people still, because I do not like the idea of people just like completely hiding everything, not giving the stats, not giving everything. And so if you guys want the real deets for a deck, this is where it's going to be, is on the breakdown analysis. And I'm going to keep doing that. And so, and I'll try to be as completely transparent with it as possible. There are some decks where I just go, you know, just dominate with it, and I won't record a bunch of extra games. But there are some times like this where it's like, it's not interesting for YouTube. The way I lost was really dumb, and even though it was there's one of these games that actually was a pretty decent game against an Angels deck. I think it was this one here. There was a decent game against an Angels deck, but it was just like, the way I lost was just really, it was just like, I never was on the I was never winning at any point in the game. I just like kept prolonging the game for a really long time, and that's just not interesting. Like, it really isn't. Like, I don't think that's what you guys are wanting to watch, as me just prolonging a game for forever. And so anyway, just being completely transparent here, those are the kinds of games I'm going to cut out, because it's not as interesting. And it also wasn't something brand new. They were playing an older deck, and so it's not something super interesting there either. So anyway, that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Let's get us to 100,000 before too long. 50,000 first. But if all of the people that are unsubscribed that have watched 3 videos in the last month subscribed, I would be over 100,000 subscribers right now. And that's people that are watching my stuff consistently. And so if you guys are one of those people, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good one, and bye-bye.